What if everything you thought you knew about yourself was just the tip of the iceberg? Prepare to dive deep into the hidden realms of human nature and emerge with a revolutionary understanding of who you truly are. Hey, seekers of truth and explorers of the mind. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the depths of human complexity. We'll challenge long-held beliefs, uncover surprising truths, and maybe even change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Let's start with a fundamental question. Who are you, really? From the moment we're born, the world tries to put us in neat little boxes. Boy or girl, introvert or extrovert, creative or analytical. But here's the thing. Humans are far too complex for such simplistic labels. Think about it. Have you ever felt like you're playing different roles in different situations? That's because you are. We all contain multitudes. The quiet person at work might be the life of the party with close friends. The rational scientist might have a deep spiritual life. These aren't contradictions. They're the beautiful complexity of human nature. If you've ever felt like a misfit or struggled to define yourself, you're not alone. In fact, you might be closer to understanding the true nature of human complexity than those who easily fit into predefined categories. But society often pushes us to simplify ourselves. We're told to find our passion or be true to ourselves as if there's just one true self to discover. This isn't just misguided, it's potentially harmful. By trying to fit into a single, coherent identity, we suppress vital parts of ourselves. What if instead we embraced our multiplicity? Research shows that individuals who acknowledge and integrate their various selves tend to be more adaptable, creative, and resilient. They're better equipped to handle life's curveballs because they can draw on different aspects of their personality as needed. This doesn't mean we lack a core self. Rather, it suggests that our true nature is fluid and contextual. We're not fixed entities, but ever-evolving processes. By accepting this, we free ourselves from the pressure to be consistent at all costs. We allow ourselves to grow, change, and surprise even ourselves. This understanding of our multifaceted nature can be profoundly liberating. If you've ever felt lost or out of place, remember, these feelings aren't flaws. They're signs that you're tapping into the rich, complex tapestry of human existence. You're not broken. You're breaking free from artificial constraints. Now let's explore how this complexity relates to periods of intense personal challenge. If you're feeling lost or struggling to find your place, you might be experiencing what some call the dark night of the soul. This concept, found in various spiritual traditions, describes a time of deep crisis that can lead to profound transformation. But you don't need to be religious to go through this. We all face moments when our world seems to crumble, when everything we thought we knew is called into question. These challenging times are often the crucible in which we discover our true multifaceted nature. These moments are terrifying. They shake us to our core. But here's the secret. They're also opportunities for tremendous growth. When we're stripped of our usual defenses and beliefs, we're forced to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. It's in these moments that real change becomes possible. Think of it like this. Our minds are like houses, with our conscious thoughts in the living room and our deepest fears locked in the basement. Most of the time, we stay in the living room pretending the basement doesn't exist. But during a dark night, we're forced into the basement. It's scary down there, but it's also where our greatest treasures are hidden. By facing our fears directly, we rob them of their power over us. We realize that what we were so afraid of often isn't as bad as we imagined. More importantly, we discover strengths we never knew we had. People who've gone through these experiences often report feeling reborn, seeing the world with new eyes. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if we didn't wait for a crisis to force us into the basement? What if we chose to explore those dark corners of ourselves voluntarily? This isn't about wallowing in negativity. It's about shining a light into every part of ourselves, accepting what we find, and integrating it into our whole being. This process isn't easy. It requires courage and often support, but the rewards are immense. By embracing all parts of ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we become more whole, more authentic, and paradoxically, more capable of change. Now let's dive into one of the most fundamental debates about human nature. Are we shaped more by our genes or our environment? This nature versus nurture question has puzzled thinkers for centuries. And the answer is, it's complicated. Our genes provide the blueprint for who we are. They influence everything from our height to our predisposition to certain personality traits. But the environment we grow up in determines how those genetic potentials are expressed. It's like having a seed. Whether it grows into a mighty oak or a stunted shrub depends on the soil, water, and sunlight it receives. Recent research in epigenetics shows that environmental factors can actually change how our genes are expressed, and these changes can be passed down to future generations. In other words, the line between nature and nurture is far blurrier than we once thought. What does this mean for us? First, it means we're not slaves to our genes. Just because your parents struggled with something doesn't mean you're doomed to the same fate. With the right environment and choices, you can shape your own destiny, but it also means we have a greater responsibility. This isn't about pressure, it's about possibility. Every positive change we make ripples out, affecting not just our lives, but potentially the lives of generations to come. This interplay between genes and environment also explains why people can change so dramatically over their lives. We're not fixed entities, but dynamic systems constantly interacting with our environment. Every experience we have, every choice we make, shapes our brain and influences how our genes are expressed. So the next time someone says, "That's just how I am," what they're actually saying is, "This is how I am right now, based on my genes and my experiences so far." But with new experiences and choices, you can become something different. You're not locked into any one way of being. Now let's talk about cognitive diversity. We often focus on visible forms of diversity, but there's another kind that's just as important: diversity in how our brains work. Some people think in pictures, others in words. Some are great at seeing patterns, others excel at detailed analysis. Some are highly sensitive to sensory input, others less so. This cognitive diversity isn't just about individual differences. It's a crucial asset for our species. In prehistoric times, having tribe members who thought differently increased the chances of survival. Today, it drives innovation and problem solving in ways we're only beginning to understand. Yet our societies often try to squash this diversity. Our education systems typically reward one type of thinking. Our workplaces often promote people who think like the boss. We create echo chambers in our social media, surrounding ourselves with those who think like us. In doing so, we're squandering one of our greatest resources. What if instead we cultivated cognitive diversity? Imagine schools that teach not just what to think, but how to think in different ways. Envision workplaces that actively seek out and value different perspectives. Picture a society that celebrates neurodiversity, recognizing conditions like autism not just as challenges, but as unique ways of perceiving and interacting with the world. This isn't just about being inclusive, it's about survival. In a world facing unprecedented challenges, from climate change to global pandemics, we need all types of thinkers. We need the analytical and the creative, the big picture visionaries, and the detail-oriented executors. By embracing cognitive diversity, we not only create a more just and inclusive society, but we also unlock our collective potential to solve problems and innovate in ways we can't even imagine yet. So, what can we take away from all this? That our complexity is our strength, that our darkest moments can lead to our greatest growth, that we're not bound by our genes or our past, but have the power to shape our future, and that our cognitive differences are not flaws, but vital assets for our collective future. As we face the challenges of our time, political division, environmental crisis, rapid technological change, let's remember these truths. Let's be brave enough to embrace all aspects of ourselves. Let's have the courage to face our fears and emerge stronger. Let's make choices that positively impact not just us, but generations to come. And let's celebrate the beautiful diversity of human cognition. So the next time you feel out of place or conflicted, remember, you're not flawed, you're beautifully complex. And that's exactly what our world needs. If this video opened your eyes to new perspectives, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe for more mind-expanding explorations of human nature. And most importantly, leave a comment sharing your own experiences with embracing complexity. How have you turned your unique traits into strengths? Together, Let's create a community that celebrates the power of human diversity in all its forms. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and always stay true to your wonderfully complex self.